The next question is about buildings and development. So this comes from Hilary, and she says, stop building flats because we're fast becoming like Croydon. So I think we've lots of built up high rises.
So we're building, we're not building ourselves, we're encouraging developers to come to the borough to build. There are several reasons for that. One of them is that we have housing targets, so both the government and the Mayor of London set us housing targets, and if we don't meet those targets then we get into all sorts of trouble. So some of it is about ensuring that we meet our targets, but it's also thinking about the future, thinking about our young people, thinking about our 20 and 30-year-olds who can't afford to get on the housing ladder because there is such a lack of housing, the prices are just going up and up and up. So if we don't build, those prices will not come down. It's basic demand and supply. What we do need to do, though, is to ensure that we conserve that suburban feel for the borough. There's a lovely... If you go around Sutton, if you go to places like Cheam Village, Carshalton Village, if you go to Worcester Park, if you go to Beddington, often people say to me, are you sure this is London? It doesn't feel like London. It feels more like Surrey because it's quite spacious. We've got lots of lovely parks. There is a different sort of atmosphere. So what we've done is we have a document called the local plan. The local plan sets the rules for any development in the borough, and the local plan makes it very clear that any high rise has to happen within a confined area around Sutton Station. So yes, there's a lot of building going on in that particular area. That's where the high rise is, the denser. And that's because there is a huge demand for flats, but particularly flats near good public transport, and being near Sutton Station obviously helps with that. So all the high rise is happening in that area, but we do have to meet our housing targets, and that's why we are looking for spaces where we can build properties that fit in with the local area. We have a very effective planning process. The character of the local area is really important for us. Our conservation areas in Carshalton, in Cheam, in many parts of the borough, people are proud to live in those areas, so we need to protect them but also find the balance. I know when I talk to 20-year-olds, they are desperate for us to build more because there is such a lack of housing. They can't afford to live in inner London. They can't afford to live in places like Tooting that I never considered to be inner London. But more and more people are coming out to boroughs like Sutton, like Bexley, because it is still more affordable. But unless we build new homes, we won't be able to meet the need.
Thank you. And this may be a follow-up from Hilary, but the next question says, I understand the building requirements that you've outlined, but why aren't more libraries, doctors and other public services coming with that building?
So it's a really good question, and it's all the infrastructure, isn't it, around the fact that there are more people living in the borough. When I first became a councillor, we had something like 185,000 people living here, and now it's something like 208,000. So there are more people here. I'm not sure I agree about the libraries. We've got a lot of libraries in our borough compared to many other boroughs, and we're very proud of them, and they're in the right places because they're quite spread out around the borough. But I absolutely recognise that as far as GP practice is concerned, for example, we are working very closely with the health service. One of the plans we have is to think about how we can use the St Nicholas Centre as a place for public services. So we're thinking about moving the council offices into the St Nicholas Centre, but we also want the police to have a drop-in session there. We want voluntary organisations like yours and many others to have an opportunity there to have a front desk where people can go. And we're talking to the NHS, to our local GPs, about having a drop-in health centre there. We can see that our GPs are really pushed. It takes a long time to get an appointment now, and while they're trying to encourage us to use apps and do it online, quite rightly people are saying, but I want to be able to talk to my doctor. So there is a small, when you have a large housing development, there is a small amount of money that you can use for local infrastructure. And we're talking to the local NHS, to the GPs, about how we can help them invest. We need to have all those public services that people rely on. And that's why it's important, I think, that being part of the community, moving our council offices down into the high streets. We're absolutely in the heart of where people are. It will also help our businesses and our shops in the high street, of course, by doing that, because there'll be greater footfall. So that will help out. We know that fewer and fewer people, they tend to do more online shopping, so retail is struggling. So actually moving our offices, having a drop-in centre for the NHS, having voluntary organisations doing their fantastic work actually in the high street, that'll be good for everyone.